Hello ladies, I'm Lori and I will never diet again. This morning I'm going to show you what my husband and I use to get over the rona that I call it. Now I don't want to downplay the fact that some people are having a very difficult time and my heart sincerely goes out to them. I'm so sorry, and I know that many of us have lost, probably all of us have lost loved ones that were sick with this. I'm so grateful to have gotten the O variant, which seems to be very mild. I feel very well taken care of. I now have the memory T cells for natural immunity because we did not do the, I wasn't planning on doing this because I'm high risk and I didn't know how I would react to another neurotoxin in my body. So let me go over the herbs that we took, the teas and a supplement or two, and the medication. For anyone that might be still preparing themselves, you still have time. And this could be helpful for those that are having what they call long COVID, So when we first found out that we had the virus, we started taking the ivermectin and the hydroxychloroquine. I want to let you know that here in Mexico, hydroxychloroquine is only $86 a box. This is enough to treat 2 people, whereas the ivermectin has only 4 little tablets and it costs $9. So, if you're going to do 5 to 7 days, you need a few more boxes of that. I'm pretty sure that technically by the 4th day I could have quit taking it, but because I was unsure, I took it for 5 days. Now the other things that helped, and I wanted to make sure that it did not go into our lungs. It was super important, as my husband is a minister. He's always preaching. In fact, he preached while he was sick with it and broadcast. So it was really hard to listen to because he was so raspy and coughing, and it was hard to listen to, but bless his heart, he still had the drive to go out there and do his work. Whereas by that day, I was fine. I was over it. I caught it and I took the hydroxychloroquine, and I believe I stopped it in its tracks from going any further because my son, who is 20 years younger than I am, by the time I had gotten a hold of him, he had a migraine. I skipped the migraine, and my husband, I don't believe my husband had a headache. But the first night, the chills, he said it was terrible. He was terribly cold and his skin hurt. He hurt all over. And I fortunately didn't have that. I had some achy hips and some fatigue, but it wasn't enough to stop me from walking every day. I walked every day for 30 minutes. And, and I was just like, no, and I felt bad sometimes because I thought, do I really have it? I did have it because there were enough symptoms, but it was so light that I sometimes was even questioning, do I really have this? But yes, I did. So the other thing we were taking, we had some supplements we were taking, and I had my husband taking zinc. I use seeds for seed cycling, and so I'm always taking in zinc. We also took black elderberry capsules. This is great for fighting off viruses and building up your immune system. We used borraja or borage. These are in capsules, but we use tea, borage tea, so I bought a bunch of borage to keep. I probably have enough for a lifetime. This is just one of the gallon bags. Borage works as a natural steroid. So when you go into the hospital, you have a problem, they always want to give you a steroid injection. Actually, it seems like most diseases, even if you have a problem in your shoulder, or they want to give you a steroid injection. Why do they do that? It helps your lymph fluid to flush out more quickly. Borage is natural, so if you have a fever or a respiratory problem, borage is great for that, but it also supports your adrenal glands. So, and the other thing is that when you're using natural medicine or natural herbs, you don't need to take a lot. So I would there's directions on how to make borage tea, or you could just take a capsule or two for a week or so and then stop. Now, also the borage, it supports your adrenal glands and kind of gives them a boost. We were taking Ginkgo Biloba. Ginkgo Biloba is great if you have chronic sinus problems. Here where we are in Forever Spring, we have pollen and dirt, and I need to take ginkgo, but I learned this is great for neurological problems because what I understand about neuropathy is it's causing a spasm, and so when they flare up, the nerves are everywhere. They flare up and it causes pain or achiness, discomfort, and it also just makes you feel like you're on more than you're nervous. It gives you a very nervous feeling. So the ginkgo has been used in studies to help with neuropathy because it calms them down. But I found out it can cause dizziness, and I do struggle with some vertigo, so I've cut back on the ginkgo, but I do use it, and I am aware of it and would prefer to take it at night before I go to bed. We used a tablet, which I'm apologetic because I know it's not ready available in the United States. I don't know about Canada, but it's available here in Mexico, and it's a type of turmeric, but I think it has something else in it that helps with the achiness, and so I only take it when I absolutely need to take something because I feel so achy. We need to talk about teas. We use Dr. Morris's Heal All Tea. This gets a lot of filtration going in your kidneys. We used voice box tea. This is very soothing to your voice box if you have a little cough. We also use Dandelion Root Tea. Dandelion root helps your kidneys keep filtering, so I mixed that in with my tea mix as we were getting well. And actually, I like to drink dandelion tea every day. It's good for you. I made up Dr. Morris's 3-lung tea. 3-lung tea is easy to make. He has given the recipe away, so I just make up my own. You can make up your own. I want you to know about this because this helps pull molds and pneumonia and all kinds of things out of your lungs. This is very, very good tea. You can get the teas through Star West Botanicals in Sacramento. Here's the ingredients. Pleurisy Root. That's herb 1. That's the first one. Let's see, Fenugreek seed. I don't have my glasses on. And this one, this is super. Even if you don't have anything else, if you can get something with Mullein Leaf in it, it's huge. The way you make it is pretty easy. You use 1 cup of each herb to make 3-lung tea. Then you use 2 cups of water, boil it, bring it to a boil, add a teaspoon of the herb, the mixed herb, let it simmer for 7 minutes, and then you strain it off and you drink that. My husband would drink it with a little bit of honey. I just drink it straight. I used to have a chronic cough. I had mold in my lungs, and I started drinking that tea and it cured it. So it's fantastic. In the second night, I had nausea. I didn't know if it was from taking the hydroxychloroquine, but I didn't have it any other time. So I just think it was part of the process of having the virus in my body. So I had achy hips. My husband also had it at another time, the achy hips, but he didn't realize it was connected to the virus. We put that together. So the night that I had nausea, there was 2 things that I used. 2 things I used were, one was doTERRA's Deep Blue Rub. I rub this on. I use this frequently. This is my go-to pain reliever when my joints hurt. For some reason, I have what's called chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia to me is just, they just don't know what it is. So I use this Deep Blue Rub. It's fantastic. I stick it on the back of my head to help the spasms because peppermint is a great antispasmodic, and it helps relieve pain. What I did for nausea was I used aloe vera, and I'll have a little clip on how to eat that aloe vera, how to use it. And I got up in the night and I just scraped some out and ate it, and it relieved me of the nausea. Then there was another bout of nausea and achy joints a little bit later, and I had to do it again, and that was it. So the night that I found out we were both sick, I ran to the pharmacy and I bought us some salt water nose spray. I told my husband we need to keep our nasal area clean. We probably should have been doing it beforehand. We were cleaning out our nasal area and our sinuses with the salt water spray. Maybe you have is it called a netting pot or something like that? Or you could take a spray bottle with some warm salty water and spray that and keep your nasal and sinus area clean. I used warm salty water to gargle with to take away the little bit of a sore throat. And my last thing that we did, and we always do, turmeric. Turmeric or curcumin stops viruses from entering into our cells. How do we use it? It needs to be taken with a fat source. So my fat source are my ground seeds that I use in seed cycling. I use it in cereal, or you could put it in a half a cup of warm water. I use a half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon, although 1 teaspoon is recommended. It's also the best anti-inflammatory in the world. This is well documented in our medical journals. So how do I use it? Simply by using ground seeds that I use for seed cycling that balance my hormones. Weeks 1 and 2, I use ground flax and ground pumpkin seeds. I just mix them in equal measure and grind them together, and then they're ready to go. So 1 to 2 tablespoons a day of each ground seed, and then weeks 2 and 3, I use ground sesame and ground sunflower seeds. Now the turmeric also needs black pepper, so you just put a little dash of black pepper. I've seen 1/8 of a teaspoon, so it's not very much, 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, and it needs to be warmed but not cooked. So I add the turmeric in at the end of making my hot oatmeal. I think that about covers it. I stayed well hydrated, drinking at least 1 quart of water. We need to drink 2 quarts of water, but when I was sick, I didn't feel like drinking very much. And lots of hot teas. And I walked every day for 30 minutes, and I rolled up my sleeves, and I took off my hat, which I'm not going to right now, but I just made sure that the sun was getting on my cheeks per Dr. McDougall, and got in that extra vitamin D, and somehow or another, I went a bit unscathed. And I'm very thankful and grateful to the Lord that He's been so good to me, and that now I have natural immunity. I have those memory T cells that I want. I'm not so much worried about the antibodies. I know that those go up and down, so I'm not really worried about those. I'm concerned about those memory T cells, and they are building up, and they're going to remember all the little brothers and sisters that come around. Next time that we have another season of viruses going through, I'm going to use wormwood. I'm going to make wormwood tea and try that. Or the other thing, and my husband used this. My husband was also using Nutribiotic. He was taking 10 to 15 drops of this every day. This is an antiviral as well. Thank you so much for putting up with my choppy videos. I'm sorry, I stumble over what I say, but it eventually gets out. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope you stay well, and God bless you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps my channel. I don't really need it to be helped. I'm really just doing this for my friends, but the more that you write to me, which I love your comments, you become my friends, and I really appreciate it. And I wanted to also say thank you to the ladies that write me private messages, which is great. Take care. So last year, most of my garden was torn out, so we're using this aloe that's in this bucket here, and it's a wreck, but you're gonna get the idea. What you're gonna do is slice off a piece of aloe vera close to the base, and it's gonna start dripping some stinky stuff, the latex out of there. That's a diuretic, and we don't want to eat that because it's, well, We just don't need to. Your next step is to wash the aloe vera. Don't poke yourself. And you want to set it into a cup or something. Set it into a cup where that latex can drip out. And sometimes I just cut the bottom part and just go and start using up above if I'm in a hurry. After it's dripped out that yucky stuff, this leaf I cut yesterday, washed it off and just start cutting it from there. All right, so I rinsed it off. It's all ready to go. Aloe vera is very interesting because it heals itself. So if I were to put this leaf out in the garden, it would grow roots and grow a new plant. Very healing. And it's slimy inside, like what we need in the inside of our stomach. That's why it's so healing. So if I've had a bit too much coffee, caffeine, or just ate something too spicy, I found out my chilaquile rojo sauce was burning my stomach, so I had to quit eating it. But then you just scrape that out and you eat it and put this on your skin. It's very good for your skin. Has no flavor. It's actually kind of hard to chew, but I just chewed up the best I can. Oops, I'm over here. It actually has no flavor. Tastes like nothing. It actually cleans the tartar off your teeth too. And that'll soothe my stomach. You can see the aloe vera, this laxative is dripping out of the bottom of the aloe vera.